Hi, I'm Brian Wiegand from SeattleHome.com, and today I'm sitting here with Darren Hamilton from Shannon Escrow. Darren, thanks for joining us again today.
Hello, Brian.
So, again, more emails from our buyers and sellers, and one of the questions we see frequently is what does a buyer and seller need to bring to the closing table?
Well, the closing table is a very exciting time for buyers and sellers. Sometimes we're working off of short notice, and if we talk about sellers first, sellers are coming in, their signing is going to take maybe about 15 minutes. We're going to hopefully get documents in advance for them to review. What they're going to really want to key in on is what do they want to do with their money? So we've got all kinds of options. We're happy to wire the funds out. That's the most popular way. We can send the funds out by check with the courier and get them to them that way. They can also come by the office and pick up a check. Keep in mind, closing technically means when funds become available to a seller.
Mm-hmm.
So that's in the afternoon on the very day of closing. A lot of times we don't have our sellers who want to drive into the office, but by the next day, we can get them a wire or we can get them a check. Mm-hmm. It's a trust account check, not just a regular check, and they could be their own courier to the bank if they wanted to do that.
Okay. So if the seller owes money, still has a mortgage on the property that they're selling, how does that interrupt the process? What are they bringing in from their lender, or are you taking care of that? How does that work?
Well, that's a great question, and really we take care of everything. You know, when they get their check or their proceeds from us, that is exclusive of loan payoffs, a lot of times utility bills, real estate commissions, title and escrow fees, all of those things, homeowners association dues. We prorate things out so that it is a loan payoff goes to that next business day.
Right to the day. Right?
That's right. And we will give them credit for property taxes paid, or we'll charge them for taxes due. Mm-hmm. On their closing statement, we'll show all those prorations. We always go through that, but we will, with their authorization, obtain all of the payoff information that's needed. The check they get is all theirs.
What if there's a lien or encumbrance on the property? How does that work?
Well, usually a lien is simply a mortgage loan, and but sometimes there's a DSHS lien, or there is a labor and materials lien. There's all kinds of liens that come up. We've been at it a long time. We've seen just about everything, and so we're always investigating, making sure that what we say is title is clear, that the title report, anything that is filed publicly that appears of record against the party or the property, is handled through closing.
Great. And on the buyer side?
The buyers who have been good sports throughout the process and providing their lenders all kinds of information, living their lives, they get the privilege of coming in or meeting with us out in the marketplace to sign what is likely 100 pages of closing documents.
Which is pretty much their mortgage paperwork, right?
Exactly.
So I've always wondered about that. Why is escrow controlling the process for signing the mortgage paperwork and not the lender itself?
In the old days, lenders used to have escrow departments. The function is, and the main reason is that lenders want to know if they're going to loan money, that they're going to be in first lien position. So if the borrower doesn't pay them back the money, they can go in, foreclose on the property, and get their money out. So they require that we promise to them that they'll be in first lien position. Everything else will be cleared and out of the way. So lenders have that strong requirement. They require title insurance, a flood inspection, earthquake review, whatever it could be. There's lots of requirements. They want to know that they've got a good, secure interest in the property that their borrower will own.
Okay. And so you at escrow, at Shannon Escrow, you've got all the documents from both the buyer and the seller, and you coordinate everything. You get all the documents signed for both parties. At what point does the buyer get the keys?
A great question, and we get that question all the time from buyers. They sometimes will come in and say, hey, all right, I've signed all my documents. Where are my keys? I want to go to my house. And they'll get their keys. That is another legal matter, and it's called a term of possession that has to be handled between the parties directly or their agents. Once the transaction is closed, once we know the documents that transfer interest in the property from the seller to the buyer have recorded at the county.
Is that the definition of closing, Darren?
That, and we have all the money, of course.
Okay.
So that's when closing happens. It's not in the morning of the day of closing, it's in the afternoon. It's not, that is the magical moment, not until we have all the funds we need and documents are recorded. And we need verification of that.
Okay. and
3:30
that's-
to 5 o'clock is a pretty common time frame.
And you get, I believe, what's referred to as recording numbers.
That's right,
And then you pass those on to both the buyer and the seller's brokers, agents.
right?
And that is legal notice
That's right, that's right.
that,
The lender is in first lien position on a property that is now owned by the buyer. That's when that happens.
okay. Wow, you make it sound so easy, but I know it's not.
Well, we've been at it a long time and we kind of like what we're doing, so it should be a fun and enjoyable process. Our buyers and sellers pay good money.
Sure.
They deserve to have a process that fits their needs and wants.
And stress-free.
That's right, as best we can. And so that really also means communicating in advance. We don't want to throw a curveball. We don't want to blindside the client.
Mhm.
This should be a fun and exciting process, and as long as we communicate correctly, that's what's going to happen.
And working together with their broker, such as myself, we coordinate everything with you folks and with the other broker representing the other party involved. And that's what we all want, really, is a smooth transaction.
If it doesn't start smooth, it's not going to get smooth. So if you are well represented as a buyer or seller in the marketplace, then you're working with a veteran agent or agency, and that experience is going to start strong, and we're certainly not going to be the weak link in the process.
Wow, that was great, Darren. Darren from Shannon Escrow, thanks so much. I'm Brian Wiegand from SeattleHome.com. We'll see you next time.